Yo, yo,
Yo,
yo,
yo,
yo,
yo, yo,
yo, yo.
yo.
Peace out there. What's good, man? How's everybody feeling? Dynamic
Man, you
Duo
know,
Producers Edition tonight. You know how it go. Piece to Chad, piece to Ron out on assignment.
we're
We'll
in this
tap.
thing,
You heard.
making
We'll
it work.
tap in with the full team next week. We're a couple episodes away from 50 episodes, which is kind of fire. I think this is 48, if I'm not
You
mistaken.
know, 50 years of hip hop, 50
Yeah, there you
episodes.
go.
We're just a lot of 50ing going on.
There's a 50 cent show, I think, at the Barclays tonight. I think it was last night and tonight.
Yeah, I saw actually a couple of my peoples went there. Looked
Word.
dope. Actually, one of my boys, New York videographer, photographer, just does a whole bunch of shit. He literally dressed almost exactly like 50 Cent. He had the bulletproof vest on,
That's
the
fire.
wild, the white do rag, Ron style, hanging out the G Unit hat. So it looked like
2003 style. What a time.
yeah, man. People don't realize we're '80s babies, but I graduated high school in '03,
Mm,
and that's literally 50's debut album. You know what I mean?
right.
Like, so for people like us, man, to actually come up in that era, not have to look back on it and be so heavily influenced by it, yo, I'll tell you what, I ain't wear many sneaker brands in my life besides like Jordan, Adidas, only when Kobe had the crazy eights. Um, but I definitely had some G units. It
That
was a
was a
time to be
time,
alive,
bro.
ladies and gentlemen. Definitely a time to be alive.
That was a time. Good Richard Die Trying, I think, came out on my birthday.
Word,
It came out on my birthday. That was,
bro.
I remember
We could,
like that
yeah,
year,
go ahead.
that summer, pretty much the whole year. Like every car that passed by in the hood was playing that album or a G Unit mixtape or a Banks album that year, Buck album that year. The G Unit joint came out the same day as the Black album.
Word. And all of us consumers were pretty much figuring out the internet in real time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you had people like 50 Cent who were like kind of mastering it, and he was like a product of it as it was starting to evolve into what it is today. But
Changed
bro, I remember
mixtapes
back.
too. Cause like
I
that
remember
was
back.
let
Yeah,
me take this and make a full song instead of just freestyling over it.
I remember back when people, I'm me. I'm people. Thought
What up,
that
people?
50 and Banks were the same person. Like we didn't even know that the voices were. I just thought he was throwing his voice. Like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Nicki Minaj does what she does, and then she'll just go into that
Roman.
other level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I just thought that's what was going on. I had no idea they were two different people in the beginning.
That's mad funny.
Hell yeah.
That's mad funny. Yeah, man. 50 years of hip hop, 48 episodes of the Ringside Club. We're gonna get into some wrestling talk, of course, but we're celebrating hip hop tonight. Both of us have definitely benefited from the culture for sure.
Sheesh.
And yeah,
Understatement over here, man. It's what
yeah, livelihood
my
shit.
family has half the shit we have because of it. So
Word up,
fuck.
word up. I ain't too far behind. I'd say a third.
Hell yeah.
I'd say a third. But yeah, man, let's you know how we do. If you've been tapped into the Ringside Club previously, you know this is the show before the show, otherwise known as Survey Time. So in the spirit of 50 years of hip hop, survey to go, can't even say around the ring. The survey to go back and forth is,
Word.
what was
We
your
cut the ring off.
first favorite rap song that you remember? Like, what was your first favorite rap song?
This is pretty easy to me. There's two songs that like really stood out, and I would say Ready or Not by the Fugees
Mm-hmm.
and Juicy by Biggie. And they may not be in the same year. I don't know the exact years they came out, but right after that time, I can also remember More Money, More Problems, literally playing out of everybody's car. So it's like, if you didn't come up in the 90s, if you didn't know what the world was like pre-internet, I feel so sorry for you because it was such a beautiful thing. But at least we're here to tell you about it. How about you? What was your first memory with hip hop?
I was walking to the Hair Shack, which was a barbershop a couple blocks away. I don't know how old I was, but I was definitely in single digits, a young fella. And I saw this black cassette tape. I believe it was a TDK tape, either TDK or Maxwell, with the black with the gold writing on it. I saw it, curious kid, picked it up, threw it in my pocket, kept it moving, went to the barbershop, went back to the crib. It was a mixtape, played a bunch of joints, but the one that stood out was Release Your Delph by Method Man.
Fire.
Off of his first album, to Cal.
Yep.
But the album version, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the full unedited or whatever. And I just remember playing that, like, rewind, play it again, rewind, play it again. So that would be like my first one. And then another, before we start the show, just another memory of like a song that, I don't know, just hit me where, in the soul. The first time I heard Super Thug by Nori.
Oh my God.
Because I had never heard a beat like that.
Never.
And then the energy that he brought on the chorus, really throughout the whole song. But I remember I had a cousin that was up here staying with me for the summer. We was going to summer camp. Whatever night it was, I had Hot 97 on out of a black boombox. And that shit came on, and we had beds, and I just ran around the bed in a circle until the song ended. And it was fire.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast before. I've said it on other podcasts, but I don't think I've had a reason to say it here. My name is Boogie because of Biggie.
Fire.
We used to play That's My Car. We used to play, Who's Your Favorite Rapper, all that crazy broke neighborhood shit that kids do.
Yeah.
And one letter off from Biggie was Boogie. So that was it.
There you go. All right, man. No better time. Let's start the show. Hold up. That means I got to bring the intro up. There we go. Let's go.
Peace to the gods, the ringside club hard. My name is A.O. Say you're the Ron and Don. Blame Boogie while you at it, blame Chad Law. K-Fabe is dead, break the fourth wall. Whatever style, whether it's lucha or strong style. Come through the venue, fly, burn the bar down. Back to the pad, chop it up for the par. Ringside club, intro to the squad as the show starts.
Yes, sir. Peace, 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 peace. Peace to the gods, of course. Peace to the earths. Everybody tuned in wherever you are. We're live right now on YouTube, of course, live on Twitter. Tag teaming it up.
That's it. We got to do it.
Tag teaming it up. It's the mightiest of the mighty. My favorite podcast, and soon to be yours, of course. I'm talking about the RSC, the Ringside Club. This is episode number 48, 2 episodes away from 50 years of hip-hop. A lot of that going around. Man, a lot of wrestling just happened this past weekend. A lot is happening this month. August is pretty full. But before we get the show started and start conversing about this and a little bit of that, let's let everybody know that may or may not be tuned in or have tuned in before where you can find us at. First and foremost, you can hit theringsideclub.com for everything you need to know. All the past episodes are right there. You can find us live every Thursday night right here on YouTube, right here on Twitter, 905 Live. But if you want to catch us on demand, we're on YouTube as far as the video is concerned and the audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. You can definitely subscribe. You can definitely rate us 5 stars as if your name was Meltzer and we was in a Tokyo Dome right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
we could talk like that. Chad's not here tonight. We could talk anything about Japan.
We
Japan,
could go to
Japan
Japan right
strong, Noah. We could go to Japan. You're right.
Word up. We could go to Japan. Peace to Chad. Peace to Ron out on assignment. You know what I mean? But
Shouts out to black wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Nice hat. AO got on right now.
Wrestling. There you go. Cash Flow Cam Broadway is the shirt. I ain't even realize I had that shit on. I was just WFH today, so this is the shirt that was clean.
I have the whitest clothing brand probably in the world on, the Vineyard Vines hat. Don't crucify me.
It's not Abercrombie.
Yeah, when you're a big guy, it's hard to find stuff that actually fits you, so a hat that fits is nice, you know?
You gotta go with what works, man.
Yeah.
Go with what works. All right, man, before we go forward, let me just reintroduce myself. I happen to be your reigning and defending RSC pay-per-view predictions champion.
Yo, this is the champions episode. What are we even talking about?
Oh, word. Never mind the
just
producers
a tag team.
episode. This is the champs. The champs are here.
What?
The champs.
Listen, man. You win, you show up for work.
Heard you. What's that saying? How much of the job is just showing up? 50, 75%, some of that?
75% of the job.
There you go. You heard me. My name is A.O. Let's pass it to my mans and them.
Boom, 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 boom. Like what?
Yo, it's everybody's favorite scapegoat, Blame Bug. My son's 2. He's literally crazy, and I barely get sleep. Neither does my wife. So if you're not hitting me up for anything that has to do with money, I'm not going to answer. So, hey, how we all doing today?
Doesn't get any realer than that, man.
Yeah.
Does
You know what I'm
not
saying?
get any realer than that. Yeah, man. So yeah, we're talking about again, we started the intro, started the show off talking a little bit about 50 years of hip hop. Before we even get into some wrestling, man, I went to Rock the Bells.
I saw
this
that.
past-
Yep.
Love that shit, bro. That was such
Slick
a good
Rick.
time, man. Slick Rick and Ludacris were and LL were 2 of my or 3 of my bucket list performers that I had never seen.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to see the 3 of them. Which
Yeah,
was
rightfully so.
amazing.
I haven't seen any 3 of them. Who'd you say it was? Who was your bucket list? Slick Rick,
Slick
LL.
Rick, Luda, LL.
Yeah, I haven't seen any 3 of those gentlemen perform ever. That's
Like
pretty dope.
Luda's first album I bought. I think I said this last week. I bought like 4 copies of it. Like I lost it, gave it away, whatever. So I bought that shit on CD 4 times. Ended up
Luda
buying
was a
like when
moment.
iTunes came out, I bought it and I was good after that, the digital and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Queen Latifah was dope. She had a live band. The Lost Boys came out. Lost Boys actually performed at my elementary school
That's fire.
back when I ain't have a bed, obviously. But that shit was cool. It was a good time. Weather was popping. My wife was there. Ran into a buddy of mine that was working sound for LL set. He's actually on tour with LL right now. So peace to Mylon and shit.
So does LL's whole crew have one pant leg up? Is that how you know who's on the LL
They should.
production crew?
They should. Yo, he had the wildest pants, bro. He had like half short, half pants. It was like one leg was a pair of shorts, and the other was a.
He got something against that
Yeah,
leg, yo. We might want to
serious
see what's good with his doctor. He might have like eczema on that leg or some shit. Who knows?
Yeah, right. It might be a problem.
Yeah,
All this
might be
time,
something going on.
it's been a call for help the whole time.
You know what I'm saying? The lip thing, the licking the lip thing is to distract you from the eczema on the leg. There's a lot going on here, folks. Got to unpack it.
Word up. So that was Saturday, and then peace to Brian H. Waters. He was celebrating his birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Peace to Brian H. Waters. So he invited the crew to come down to hang out with him in the city. Fresh off of Detroit. They were fresh off of peace to those wrestling girls and that whole crew
Yeah.
as well.
They're doing big things, man. I always,
Yeah.
whenever I see they're at a WWE event, I'm always like, good for them. I'm super,
For sure.
super happy that they're doing that. Seeing familiar faces in rooms, no matter what it is, whether you're watching entertainment or whatever if you are taking your time to do something organically and you see someone that you know or care about that's on that screen, it's a good feeling, man. You know what I mean?
That is
Shouts
a
out to
fact.
them.
That's a fact. So fresh off of the SummerSlam in Detroit, they came down over to out here in the city, hung out a little bit, and I got to chill with him and raise a glass in celebration and salute. Happy birthday to that man. So peace to Brian H. Waters, man.
Real good
It's
dude,
been a good
yo.
week. Yo,
Aside
he's-
from
he's-
the podcast and shit, you could tell when people are
Exactly.
solid people. He's a good dude, yo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's been cool. But what's been going on with you, man? How was the weekend and the week so far?
Man, it's just a bunch of getting stuff together. I'm, like always working. I don't really talk about a lot of the work that I do, and it's probably just because when you work, like if you build a house, I'm sure you're, after the first one, it's like, yo, look at this house I built. After the second one, it's like, yo, look what I did with the windows this time. And then after the third one, it's just like, yo, I build houses, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right,
Yes, that's what I do.
So it's like, I don't really take a chance to ever really sit back and be like, yo, look, I just did this. But just in wrestling art and the things that I've done in wrestling, bro, I've done some super, super dope shit I'm mad proud of and I guess grateful that I'm able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because when you think about doing things that you want to do or you set goals, it's like, I'm never going to be able to do that shit. And then you do them and it's like, oh shit, okay, I did that shit. So
Right.
yeah, man, shouts out to me, I guess. I don't really do that a lot. So shouts out to me for doing what I like. You should be able to see, it's on their page right now, but StarCast 6 this year. Conrad Thompson, everybody else that's involved. Hal Haney and I did some exclusive artwork that's going to be available for folks who buy whatever kind of packages, meet and greet packages. We did one for I don't know if I can announce it, but we did
We'll
the
just say,
Danhausen one, which was released.
Word. Okay.
So we definitely could talk about that. You know what? We did one for Eddie Kingston, yo. I'm not gonna say who else is for. We did it for Eddie Kingston, and when y'all see that, you're just gonna be like, damn, Hal and Boogie, man, how do they do this shit? But we do it. We work real well together. And one of these days, we're gonna get old rickety ass Hal off of his fucking couch in North Carolina and on this podcast. So we'll make that happen too.
Yo, peace to 9 o'clock.
Yo, bro, the 9
about
o'clock
that?
gang is serious. Yo, 30 and ups, bro. You know about that
Nah,
9
it's
o'clock
real.
cutoff, bro.
It's
I'm in
real.
the house, or if you're not really trying to be out in the mix of things, 9 o'clock is when you know what I'm saying.
Yo,
You start
even if
thinking
you are
about
out
what-
in the mix, even if
Yeah.
there's been many a time my wife and I have been out, even just around the corner, because like where we are, there's a bunch of restaurants and all that. Go get something to eat, and then it's like, damn, what time is it? It's like 9:30, 10. It's like might be time to go. I'm starting to
Yeah,
get
you
tired.
start to remember how good the sheets feel. It's like, damn,
Word.
yo, my bed's mad comfortable, huh?
Yo, I spent some money
Shit.
on that thread couch. You know what I mean?
But
Let's
yeah,
go
man,
to
I've been
enjoy
good.
that, man.
I've just been working, chilling, minding my business, keeping the house as clean as possible. It's
There
one
you
of the
go.
hardest things to do when you fucking work so much and your wife takes care of your son so much. It's just like who does what when, but we don't complain, man. We have it under wraps. What you been into besides running to these concerts and working your beard off?
Yeah, nah, man. This is I fucking grow this beard so backwards because like I cut it during the winter and let it grow in the summer, and it's fucking hot. You
Yo,
know
does
what I
your
mean?
wife
It's-
get mad at you when you cut your beard, bro? Mine gets pissed, bro.
Yo, opposite. She doesn't like the beard. She just grew to like it after a while. But it's like if it's like shorter, if it was closer to like your length, that's probably around the length that she's cool with.
She
this
gets
shit
pissed,
is-
bro.
this
She's like,
shit
you
is
look
like-
too young. I feel like I did something wrong. Like, yo,
Yo,
keep
and
your
rocking the
keep your
cradle.
keep your beard so I can see the gray hair and remember I'm dealing with,
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
man
yeah.
here. I'm like, yeah, no doubt. I got you.
Speaking of which, I just noticed the other day I went into the office. I think it might have been last week. And I don't know. I guess you're home, you're just moving around, you brush your teeth, you move out. So I'm not like staring at myself in the mirror and shit. I go to the bathroom in the office or whatever in the building, and I look up and wash my hands. I'm like, there's a couple more of those
Yeah, bro.
silver linings in there than I remember
sneak
last
up.
week, man.
They sneak up. You either go full on DJ Khaled where your shit's just, you know what I'm saying, all the
That's
time,
that's that Beijing though.
or you just let it, you let it flourish. And luckily I have a supportive young woman in my life who likes my gray hair, so I'll let
There
it
you go.
I'll let it live.
Man, I'm keeping mine in, man. I earn those. Those are stripes.
Save
man.
me the save me the dye money.
Yeah, I earn those. Those are stripes, man. I seen a thing or two. Word up.
Word.
So yeah, man.
Did you get a chance
don't-
to see any wrestling this week? I know we both
I
been busy.
did.
I tuned in to Dynamite.
I saw so SummerSlam. I saw like on fast forward.
Yeah.
I caught it because I think that was the same day as Rock the Bell, so I didn't get a chance to
Yep.
watch it live. I caught it like the next day, and I just like tapped into the matches I wanted to see, but I really wanted to just kind of see the direction everything was going. So I saw like a good chunk of that, and then while I've been home this week, I had it on in the background, so anything that I missed, I at least saw, even if I wasn't like captively paying attention to it. I maybe saw a little bit of Raw. I don't remember. I definitely watched Dynamite. I definitely caught Collision. That was very DVR. So yeah,
First
probably
week I
those.
missed Collision. This is the first week that I
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
missed Collision. I saw like little pictures of Punk in like a cowboy hat or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's the first time I missed Collision. I caught highlights of Raw. Shouts out to Chad Law, who thinks everybody should just watch fucking highlights. I don't think he realizes how much that gets under my skin when he says that shit. Yo, I really want to watch a feature film when I watch it. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
watch sport. To me, wrestling is not Sports Center. You know what I mean? Like, in
Feel you.
many ways, like you
Feel
have
you.
to watch the whole show. I feel like sometimes, like,
Feel you.
yeah, I'm sure there's certain segments you want to fast forward through or bathroom break, but I'd rather see the whole show and pick which ones I'd like to take out later.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I saw a little bit of Raw. I saw all of Dynamite. Kind of fell asleep towards the end because I have sleep apnea, and that just happens when you're not really entertained too much. So it's not their fault. I could fall asleep really to anything, including someone yelling at me. So don't think you're special. But yeah. So I saw that. I didn't catch Collision again for the first time this week. Saw the whole SummerSlam. But I actually watched the back end of SummerSlam live, then watched the beginning half because Peacock's amazing, and then caught the press conference afterwards. So
Word.
I did it kind of weird, but I watched that. And then, honestly, I'm more up on game with podcasts than I am with the actual visuals a lot of the time. So if you want to know what Cornette thinks about anything, I got your back. If you want to know what Busted Open thinks about anything, I got your back. Kevin Nash, everybody, I listen to all these fucking podcasts because it's good for me during my workday and through my jobs to just stay connected. So I know about a lot about what's going on. I haven't necessarily visually seen everything, but I'm here.
Yo, you know what I caught for the first time? Speaking of podcasts, the pod that Busted Open does after Dynamite. They've been doing that maybe a couple
Bully
of months
Ray's
so far.
After Dark, yep.
But I caught it for the first time today just to check in because it popped up on my feed because I'm subscribed to the feed or whatever, but I just never tapped into it. And it's kind of dope, like 20 minutes in and out. Here's what I think about this, that, and the third. You know what I mean?
Yo, it's funny, right? Like when we talk about Hulk Hogan, we can attribute why we don't like that guy. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we appreciate everything he did as a kid, made us love wrestling, but that's where it stops. Like, the give Dre's props line and all that shit, right? So, speaking of hip hop. But when it comes to Bully Ray, there's nothing that ever sticks out to me that says this is why I hate this guy, except the fact that he is a heel and he is very over opinionated.
He's good at his job.
Yeah, he is.
He's a loud. It's easy to hate a loudmouth, but when you realize that's part of what he's trying to do, it's like I respect.
But he's really, really fucking good at what he does, man. He is so creatively sound. Where I don't know. We have to test him. I really believe he needs a job doing this. I feel like everyone's question for when they hear his critiques are, could you do this same thing real time instead of like the day after the show? You know what I mean? Because obviously we all have our opinions the day after the show. I seem to like his more than anybody else's, but because I'm so drawn to the way he would have wrote the book, I feel like, bro, if he was in a creative position in any company, he would literally better that company almost like immediately as soon as he started, no matter who it was, Impact, AEW, WWE.
Is he in creative and Impact, or is he just talent over there?
I think he's just talent. I don't know.
Right.
I know Tommy Dreamer's behind the scenes. Tommy's always been more of a executive guy and a wrestler too, ever since the Prime days weren't really right there. But he's I don't know, bro. They're all doing something, and I feel like if Bully were to get that job doing that, not that I don't want to hear him on the podcast, but we wouldn't be seeing him too much because he'd really be calling shots. He's really good at least what I think I want out of wrestling when I hear him explain it. And I'm not a mark for him or nothing. I'm not like a huge Bully Ray fan.
Right.
He dated my cousin. Whatever, we'll throw that out there. He's a good guy from what I hear. My cousin had nothing but good things to say about him. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I have no problem with the guy. He seems like a good dude,
A lot of those guys, the core ECW dudes all played a role like backstage at ECW. Like
Word.
Taz, Dreamer, Bully is a good.
They all had those core guys. I don't want to
guys.
say executive, but they had integral parts.
Because I think for instance, like Taz had a lot to do with like designing the shirts and a lot of the merch, and like Tommy was booking flights, and like a lot of those guys came up the same way you come up with if you've ever started a small business. Exactly. Your crew, or you start a small business, or you work for a small business where this might be what you were hired for, but you also needed to do this, that, and the third, or the ship stops. Is one of those things. And the best thing about experiences like that is that you gain the experience doing other shit. So I think he has that perspective because there might have been a bunch of times where he had to step in to figure some shit out. You know what I mean? And like, aside from being a performer and knowing what, speaking of Bully, it's just crazy, it just pops up. I got Impact on in the background, but it says September 9th, Westchester County Center, on the 1,000th episode of Impact. Team 3D, otherwise known as the Dudley Boys, Devon and Bully Ray, reunite for the first time in 7 years. So that's next month, in about a month.
I just saw Devon on a clip for Busted Open today on my Twitter feed.
Word.
And it just made me smile because he looked, number one, he looked healthy. Yeah. Number two, him and Bully's Bubba, him and Bubba's chemistry together is fucking insane, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Think about how many hours the two of them spent together.
Crazy.
Like
how many hours they spent at war with each other, for each other. There's a lot of history there.
Yeah. That's what's up. But yeah, but I thought
This
the
has
pod
been the
was
Bully
dope.
Ray segment.
Yeah, peace to Bully Ray. This
Yeah,
is
no,
not
for real.
sponsored by Sirius XM, but it should be.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. But shouts out to him. He's doing what he needs to do.
Word. Yeah, so SummerSlam was this past week. I pulled the card up. So I'm
Yep.
gonna just run the results down real quick, and maybe we can just go through some of the
I
highlights.
want to acknowledge
and thoughts.
something real quick. If not
Yeah.
acknowledge AO, you know what I mean, altogether. But
Word.
this man couldn't win a fucking pay-per-view prediction to save his life for a full fucking year. Now all of a sudden he's holding this. How many pay-per-views is this now? 2 or 3?
I think this is the first defense, the first successful defense
first.
since
Okay,
I won it.
so
yeah.
He won it.
But I
and
mean,
he
it's a
defended
big
it
one. Like
successfully.
yeah,
This is a
SummerSlam
big win.
is second big one of the year. 2-time
Big 4.
champ, by the way. So I'm out here.
Yeah.
I'm out here.
Yeah.
Doubled up.
Just wanted to shout you out there.
I appreciate that, my
You know what
man.
I'm saying?
So we had 9 matches at SummerSlam this past weekend. Let's just run through the winners and the losers really quick, and then let's talk
Yep.
about what stood out. So
Yeah.
Logan Paul beat Ricochet by pinfall.
Yep.
Cody beat Brock by pinfall.
Sure did.
LA Knight won the Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal. 24 other
big
men
win
were
for
thrown
him.
over the top. Yeah, and definitely the correct call for sure.
Yeah.
Shayna beat Ronda in the MMA rules match by TKO. Or excuse me, technical submission.
Yeah.
Which
Choke out.
I gained points on that because that was
You
that
did.
was the choke
Because
out.
you guys called the choke. Yep.
Choke out, yeah. Gunther defended his Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre, and he is, I want to believe, within a month he'll be the longest reigning IC champ, overtaking the
30-something
Honky Tonk
days.
Man. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Seth Rollins defended his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor.
Yep.
Bianca Belair beat Asuka and Charlotte Flair, but then we had Io Sky cash that Money in the Bank briefcase in, and she is the brand new WWE Women's Champion. And finalmente, we had Roman Reigns in a tribal, what was the name? Tribal Combat. Tribal Combat. We had Roman Reigns defend his championship against Jey Uso after Jimmy Uso ran in and turned on his brother. Crazy
Golly.
shit.
Some
What
Springer shit.
Yeah, that's very Maury, very Springer, very Pix 11 at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday.
This man said Pix 11.
Pix 11.
Golly.
What was your favorite match, or what stood out to you, or what are your first thoughts when we say SummerSlam 2023?
Io Sky's moment was fire. I'm happy for her.
Absolutely. Let me get a
I
drop
think
for Io
she's-
Sky real quick.
Yeah. Shouts out to
Let
her.
me get a drop.
You could see how. Yeah, let that breathe too. She's fire. You could see how genuinely excited she was to win a championship. How gracious she was to be a WWE champion. Like, it meant something down to her core. Like, that's the type of shit you like to see from your baby faces, which it's kind of arguable whether she's a baby face or not because of their whole faction. But
Right.
you know, they're
I
kind
can't
of on
help
the
but root for
uptick.
her.
Yeah, and you know, just like good old, and I tell my wife's name is Jasmine, so I'm just gonna say Jasmine. I tell Jasmine this shit all the time, like how all the wonderful wrestling fans have their ass cams set for when Bailey's on TV, and they have it set for when Sky Blue's on TV, and Anna Jay and Tony Storm, and all right, the list goes on and on and on, right? But I think the fans love Bailey. And she was never a heel to them anyway. You know what I mean? She's always going to be loved regardless because she's just one of those people. And it's almost the
100%.
same thing as Seth. Like, you can't hate him. I'm sorry. He's just there's too much charisma there to hate this person. So, that's one of the moments that stood out to me. The number one moment, no questions asked. This has been talked about on several of the podcasts I already mentioned, so I hate to be a piggyback, but hey, our show's on Thursday, so it is what it is.
It's what it is.
Cody getting the sign of respect from Brock Lesnar is one of the best moments I saw in WWE history because
Facts.
the very thought of Brock being on your screen, the image of him being present is just like when the camera goes out of focus a little bit, but there's like a fucking literal raging bull running at you from behind and you could tell that's happening, but it's out of focus. You always have your guard up when Brock Lesnar's around. So he
100%.
has time and time again put his hand out to show a sign of respect, or he's acted like he's about to go away, and as soon as camera A switches to whatever other camera is, there goes Brock right back down the ramp in the ring about to fuck shit up. So
Right.
the thought that that was going to happen at any second, and it didn't, very similar to the MJF Adam Cole shit where you're waiting for this shit to implode at any second. I think that made it so that it was a really, really special moment for not just Cody, but if Brock is really going away for a little while, for Brock too. That was dope for him to hand that off to somebody else and just be like, yo, you got it, bro. Fuck this dude, Roman. We got this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo, like the cool thing with that for me was like Brock is is really the only guy for me where I feel like there's that vibe that at any moment this can go off the rails, he can go off script, and nobody can do anything about it.
Exactly.
Like I remember years ago, he had a match with it might have been at a SummerSlam if I'm not mistaken, but there was a match he had with Randy Orton where it ended because he caught him with some elbows to the forehead and busted him open, and the refs ran in, called the match, and that was the match.
Yeah.
And that was the plan, but at the time nobody necessarily knew that. And I think this is back when Chris Jericho was still in WWE at the time, and he thought it was legit. And as much shit as Chris Jericho has seen, for him to think it was legit means it looked like my man went off script and took advantage of somebody you're supposed to be working with. And he pressed him backstage, and they got into a little thing backstage or whatever. But like that's the vibe that Brock brings, and that's why I enjoy like Brock Lesnar matches and Brock Lesnar programs. And in my opinion, bro, like I've definitely always sung Brock's praises. I've always been a Brock fan. I hate rankings and I hate top fives and Mount Rushmores and shit because what's the fucking point? But if I'm pressed, he's up there in the top, whatever the fuck you want to say in WWE, in my opinion, because maybe you're not gonna remember a Brock promo, but you remember everything else. You remember
the hardest part about I feel like the hardest part about rankings is as soon as you look down at their boots, right? Whoever's boots you're looking at, there's another shadow cast right next to it, and it's
1000%.
like so as soon as you say top whatever the number is, then it's like fuck. I just remembered the Undertaker. Shit, I just remembered Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Fuck, yo, you know what? Kenny Omega's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, yo, all these dudes are not, you know what I'm saying? So it's real hard to rank. But Brock is in his own league, to me, the same way that, and this might be a horrible comparison, but I'm sorry, we lived through it. The same way Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire were in their own league.
No, for
These
sure.
are all men playing the same sport over here.
For sure.
Over here, these guys are fucking actual mutant. Not even, you've never seen nothing like this before. Doing the same thing you are.
Before.
Yeah, never. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think like the way I look at it is like I hate rankings and Rushmores and those kind of conversations, but if somebody is bringing up the best of whatever, there's just names that I feel if I'm in that conversation, I'm going to bring their name up. Lesnar's one of them. Angle's one of them. You know what I mean? Like the legitimacy that Brock brings to the table. So, I mean, I thought that was dope. And the fact that he actually, I don't think that was planned from what I read, for him to actually shake Cody's hand at the end. That wasn't something that was necessarily planned or written for them to do or whatever. He just said, nah, fuck with you. You know what I mean? Gave him the handshake, raised his hand, showed him to the crowd, gave him the ring. Like, I don't think you get a bigger sign of respect from somebody that's been in that company, you know, on and off, but pretty much there since 2002.
Yeah.
You know, that's respect.
Yeah, I would say that was a pretty powerful moment.
For sure.
I enjoyed a lot of SummerSlam. I think the episode last week before we got into SummerSlam, we brought up a little bit of stuff, but realistically, every pay-per-view we've had since SummerSlam 22 has really been hitting on all cylinders for WWE. You can make little comments here or there, but they've all been, for the most part, right there.
They've been knocking them out of the park. I heard like a lot of commentary that this might have been the weakest one, but even with that being said, it was solid. You know what I mean? Like,
it can't be
solid.
weaker than the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match one. It can't.
I mean, match for match, that's the worst shit that happened this year for sure.
Yeah, like,
you know, match for match, that was the worst shit.
But yeah,
like the one of the other big talking points obviously is going to be anything that Roman Reigns is involved in.
Yeah.
the tribal combat match where there was supposed to be no interference by anybody, and we had 2 people run in.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But I'm really interested now to see what happens with, like, what's next, right? Roman's still a champ. Jimmy's beefing with Jay. Jimmy's not necessarily realigned with the bloodline. He's just not aligned with Jay. Solo is there. You got really 3 of Rikishi's kids beefing with one another, and then Roman is still, dangling that championship above the family and the rest of the company and shit. So the next, pay-per-view cycle is going to be interesting, and obviously, like, we got maybe 6-7 months until next WrestleMania when everybody predicts that it's going to be Cody and Roman again at 40. So
Yeah. I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I want to say that I kind of booked myself into being disappointed, if that makes sense. So what I really thought was going to happen during this match was that Rikishi was going to come out in some way, shape, or form and kind of direct traffic and just be like, all right, this guy's the tribal chief, but he's doing stuff his own way right now.
Right.
You're my sons. We have the lineage over here. Let's just come home. Let's do this. And this is the bloodline over here. You know what I mean? Like, this is just the way we're doing it. We're gonna run it our way. You don't need to listen to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman don't say nothing that goes in this family. You guys should probably listen to your father. Come over here. And I thought it was gonna be some real family shit. Like, it's just the thought I had. And I'm like, all right, so you got Heyman and Roman running together, and then you got Jimmy and Jay running with their pops. Like, I just thought that would have been fire. Like, who knows if, Solo's obviously his son as well. So
right,
he
but
would
he's
come
on
over
the
to
other
the
side of the
fold.
fence right now.
I just thought that it was all going to be, them against Roman, and then the ultimate implosion where Roman loses all the titles at WrestleMania 40 or something like that. Like, I don't really know, but I will say I'm still happy with the outcome.
That could still happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could still happen because, again, like, there's 6-7. We got half a year really until next Mania.
Right.
So there's a lot of time.
Which we are willing into existence. We will be there.
Yo,
no
Philly.
question.
No, we're going there. I believe that if it's not this Friday, if it's not tomorrow, it's next Friday. I got to double check, but tickets go on sale. And, I mean, it might be an immediate sellout, but one way or another, I'm going to Philly for Mania-related.
I'm coming home with a chair, bro. I need a WWE chair just so I can go to Montgomery, Alabama, and help my people out. Not the white people, by the way. I didn't mean that. I don't claim.
There's a fire spot that's like walking distance, really, from me, called Wrestling Universe, and they have all of that shit, like a lot of like pay-per-view chairs and every kind of comic book and action figure and all that shit. A lot of wrestlers do signings there, like all the time, monthly, weekly, all the time and shit. But as soon as you said chair, like, come back with chair, there's a chair that I was looking at the last time I was there that I might have got to go back, like a SummerSlam, the Austin versus Taker SummerSlam. I think there was a chair there for that shit.
It's fire.
Yeah, piece of the rest.
I see him on Facebook Marketplace a lot. That's where I got my Scott Hall NWO signature thing. So dope.
I was updating my my music website today. / my media website / whatever. Hit djao.xyz, by the way. That's the URL.
Shameless self-promotion.
Hey, fuck it. Who cares? But I was looking at, let me see if I can pull this up here on this computer, but just the number of wrestlers that I've been able to meet and take flicks with is kind of cool.
That's fire.
I didn't really... Like, I remember a lot of these trips, but, it's over the span of a number of years, whatever. But just, like, trying to compile some of these pictures. I'm looking at now, speaking of Rikishi, I got a flick with him, Mark Henry, the Young Bucks, Santana and Ortiz, Scott Hall, R.I.P., Jay Briscoe, R.I.P., Billy, I was about to say Billy Madison.
I thought you were going to say Billy Kidman.
Nah, Billy Starks, excuse me. Billy Starks. But there's a number of wrestlers here that I was like, damn, I'm glad to have met a couple of them. But I don't know why. I just remember that shit. But yeah, so that's that. That was SummerSlam. There's a lot going on there. And of course, Monday Night Raw, we see that Cody is still interacting with Seth. So we'll see what happens with that.
They make magic, man. I can't hate it. I wouldn't hate it
Of
as
course.
much as I hate Roman Brock, you know?
The only thing I hope they don't do, I just don't ever want the language to ever be Cody wanting Seth's title. If Seth challenges him and Cody being a babyface that he is, says, all right, bet. Even if he beats him, I just don't want Cody to say, I want that title, because the story is always, I want the title that my pops didn't get a chance. And that's always going to be, if talking finish the story, that has to be the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if Seth is calling him out because, yeah, you beat me 3 times and I want my win back, but I also happen to be the champion, so yeah, I'll give you a championship
Did you
opportunity.
get to see the doc yet?
Cool.
The Cody doc?
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
I did.
I love that original WW. I think it's the WWF championship, or if it's just the regular WWF championship, that the Backlund one that he was dragging.
I
that
think it
his
was
pops won.
WWF. Yeah.
Yeah, that championship is real slept on. That shit is dope as fuck. Super old school. Looks
I
like
feel
some
like
Ghostface
the
Killer
US
armband shit.
The U.S. title kind of got some like influence,
some
I think,
shine
from
from
that.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
because the way the eagle was raised up on it,
Mhm.
and then like I think there's an NWA like North American Championship or some shit. There's a couple titles that borrowed like ideas from those belts, but
Yeah.
those shits are always interesting because just like I saw some shit yesterday that Brian Danielson retweeted too. He was like, I should be the only person to have this title. It was something that looked like a side of a mountain and a goat or some shit like that. That was like almost embossed and raised up, like the way they carved the metal out. Look kind of fire.
Word.
But word up, shouts to championships.
Yeah,
All right,
you know
let's
what I'm
scoot over to AEW. Before I do,
Let's do
here's
it.
another shameless plug. I
Let's
just
do
got
it.
this in the mail today. This is Ringside Club merch, so check this out. This is the back of the tee right here. Ringside Club logo designed by the man on the call with me right now. Hey, but check this out, man. I don't know if y'all can see it clean, but this is that Booker T and Matt Hardy picture that was going around last month. We made a t-shirt out of that shit, so definitely head
Who doesn't
over.
want Booker T on a hoverboard with Matt Hardy and an HWA shirt?
Right in the project, and
Yeah.
this is a pocket, so you can put your paraphernalia in that.
Yeah, whatever
So
you
hit
need
that up.
goes in there.
Hey, whatever you need, hit that up. You can buy that exclusively at partofmyfresh.com or just hit theringsideclub.com and hit shop, and it'll take you there.
Absolutely.
That shit goes right back into making sure that we can keep this show on the air.
That's it.
Viewers like you.
Because of viewers like you.
Viewers like you. All right, let's swap over to AEW. We got the All-In card. It's shaping up. I think that's in 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's in 2 weeks. Wembley, I think it's officially overtaken, I think, 4th place right now. There was like a WWE SummerSlam, I think, 93 was
Like
whatever
90,000.
the numbers are. They're doing a lot of numbers. They're well over 80,000, I believe, at this
Mm-hmm.
point. And it's looking to be the way that they're building it, the biggest wrestling show of all time. So congrats to everybody involved over there for selling some tickets. But so far, we have 5 matches that were announced. 1 on the pre-show, 4 for the main card. The
I
pre-show
was hoping
match.
you'd say the pre-show. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yo, you know what it is? Like, you know how the pre-show will come on and you may and may not watch it? Now I feel like I got to watch that shit.
Bro, that was if that wasn't done by design, then bravo, because it's one of those things where it's like you just happen to stumble upon it. Like if you're just like at the beach and oil starts like spilling up out of the ground, it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit, there might be oil here. Maybe I should go figure that out.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna have viewers watch from beginning to end. It's gonna have their numbers go up. Tony Khan's a stat guy, so you're gonna line them stats up on a piece of paper, and there we go. All the stats are here. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, because we're all the stat burgers out there, all these people out there that just literally like, yo, bro, I forgot who it was. I think it's Travis Scott. This is a very hip hop episode, sorry, but Travis Scott, his album numbers for his first week were tremendous. His album numbers for
the
his
last
second
album?
week, his
last
most
album
recent
came
one,
out?
the Utopia
Yeah.
one, yeah. For his second week, it's still at like over 100,000 sales in the second week. So it's like, all right, I can understand when you have people that are putting up numbers like that. You're looking at numbers and it's whatever. Numbers aren't a proven science for what's good. You have your local. Chad brought me to some spots that were closed when we got out of the episode of Dynamite that we went to, but You got your chopped cheese spot right down the street. You don't need no big company to come in here and sell 5 billion
Hello.
chopped cheeses to tell you it's good. Like,
Hello.
it's just good. So ratings don't tell you the whole story, especially if you're not there for that. Like, I don't choose the people I do business with because they're super popular, because I choose the people I do business with because, well, first of all, they came to me, and second of all, I enjoy the business relationship we have. So it's like, if you can sit there and enjoy wrestling the same way you enjoy your interactions with people, it's just I feel like it just is so much more simpler when you don't have to have somebody else tell you something tastes good. Like, nah, just try it yourself, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Come to your own conclusion. Like numbers
But it's
and
still
numbers.
good for them. These
Yeah,
numbers are going to be stacked at this pay-per-view no matter
numbers
what.
and numbers. I tap in to a lot of like UK podcasts and like wrestling UK wrestling podcasts, and they're excited. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
legit.
I think like the numbers that they're able to do over there reflects just how excited and just how starved for big wrestling shows they've been. You know what I mean? We saw like WWE did something a couple of months back, and now this one, and I see Impact is going over there before the end of the year. So there's like WWE UK was a thing for a while, and then it wasn't. But before that, like Progress was popping, and Rev Pro was popping. Rev Pro is still around, so is Progress. You know what I mean? So like, there's just like a big wrestling fan. And then the other
Speaking
thing is,
of championships, I'm sorry to cut you off. Speaking of championships, that Rev Pro title is fire. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. That is fire. And the old WWE UK championship was one of my favorite looking titles also.
Yep.
That
Even the
shit was
NXT
beautiful.
UK championship was dope.
For sure. So yeah, so I'm just excited that, the shit is coming up. When they announced it and they said, yeah, we're doing Wembley or whatever, it seemed like it was a while ago, and now we're about 2 weeks away from that show, and they're all out right after that. So far, like I mentioned, 5 matches. We got Aussie Open, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, in the pre-show match against the AEW World Champion and his opponent for the main event of All In, Adam Cole. Better than you, baby. And there's like so many theories, and I have my own as to why this was why Adam Cole made this proposal to MJF. But let me run through these real quick, and we'll double back to that, because I just love, if I think what the direction is for that is actually what it is, I think the shit is fire. It's genius. FTR, they're defending their tag team championships against the Young Bucks. That's the rubber match.
Hit the drop on that, bro. Because we've been waiting for this. I'm sorry, like,
absolutely.
All this speculation, all this shit about what's been going on, what's not been going on. People want these guys to rip each other's throats out. You got the Bucks fans who couldn't be more different than the FTR fans as far as, what they want us to believe. It's, it's old school versus new school. It's everything you'd want in a rivalry. The polarity, the magnetism, all that's there. And I just feel like when we see that match, I hope everyone's able to stay healthy through it, because they're all going to be throwing some fucking extra elbow grease into this shit.
They're going. Going.
Yeah, like, they're going to be like, all right, all that shit you did with the Briscoes, rest in peace, Jay, that's cute. We're literally going to have the best tag team match that's ever existed. And that's it. Like, there's nothing acceptable besides that. So
yeah, they are going.
Wait. Yeah.
And like, legitimate, like, I know some people, the Young Bucks are polarizing as fuck. I am a Young Bucks guy. You know what I mean? I think they're one of the best. Again, hating the Rushmores in the top 5 list, but as far as tag teams that I've been able to watch during the 6 years that I've been alive, and then seeing the impact they've had on the business. In fact, like, this is part of the reason why this company exists in the first place.
Yep.
Young Bucks are up.
Yeah.
They've been up, and I can't wait to see this shit.
My qualms with the Young Bucks are the same I have with a lot of wrestlers. I won't say a lot of wrestlers in AEW. I'll say a few wrestlers in AEW, and it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the production. With WWE, they're so spot on that if you're doing a super kick, the angle of the camera is going to be perfect. You're not going to see that little margin of error where you're not actually kicking the guy in the face, or you're not kicking him that hard. And that's why I'd say it's not the performer's faults. I think AEW style lends itself to, unfortunately,
seeing
uncovering
how
some
the hot
things.
dog is made.
Yep,
Yeah, seeing
exactly.
how the sausage
Yep.
is made. Yeah.
So it's not their fault. And realistically, if that's their style, that's their style. I just think that it exposes some stuff more than it doesn't. That's all.
That's
And it's
very
not the
fair.
Bucks' fault. Yeah.
No, that's very fair. Because, like, the interesting thing, speaking about production, is, like, to me, sometimes WWE is a bit overproduced.
Too much
But-
cuts.
Yeah, too much cuts, camera shakes, or whatever. Even something as simple as this may not bother anybody but me, but sometimes it's just too many fucking lights. It's just too
Yeah.
much. You know what I mean? It's like sensory overload. I'd rather you just have the lights on or off so I see the
Right.
crowd or don't see the crowd instead of
Right.
fucking laser beams and shit. But
Right.
maybe that's, but to your point, like when WWE is producing and you see a kick or this or that, you can't necessarily see through it as much as you can with other companies because that's just the way that they choose to produce it. So that's very fair. Very fair. So those are 2 matches so far. We have Hikaru Shida, the brand new, and again, I'm so happy that she's the current women's champion in AEW because she was her first reign was during the pandemic and nobody was able to see her live. And now she's going to walk into Wembley Stadium, again, the biggest wrestling show ever, as the champion. You know what I mean? So she's able to not only perform in front of fans, but perform in front of
Not
their
to
biggest
mention,
crowd ever.
Before her kendo stick run situation, she's fire. You know what I mean?
She's one of the
got
best
a
in the world.
dope
Yeah.
moveset.
Yeah, she's one of the best in the world.
Compelling. Love to watch her wrestle. So yeah, she deserves to be champion. And
Yeah.
honestly, I have no problem with any of the AEW women's champions we've had at all. Period. Like I think they've all been deserving. They're all fantastic. I think that because of all the bullshit going on right now, it takes the stink off of it. It allows you to appreciate the champion for who they are, who's not wrapped up in any backstage drama. This is just who your champion is right now.
Yeah. And that's going to be a 4-way match. So far, we have Hikaru Shida and then Toni Storm got a bye.
Yep.
The favorites to be the final 2 are Saraya and Britt Baker. So it looks like the 4-way will be Shida versus Storm versus Saraya versus Baker at All In. We have Darby Allin teaming up with Sting to face AR Fox and Swerve Strickland coffin match at All In. I'm with it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's do some bad shit. You know Sting is jumping off of something high. So I'm with it. You know? And again, like Sting, I believe he said this is going to be his last year. So for him to be able to go out, even if this isn't his last match, for him to be able to have one of his last matches in front of 80,000 plus is appropriate as hell. You know?
Forgive me. Please forgive me. Because I think what I'm about to say is super offensive. But when I see Swerve and AR Fox on the screen, nobody else, Prince Nana, love him. Everybody else, love him. Fine. Not even worry about it. But just the visual, when they came out on the ramp, not in the ring, when they're on the ramp, and they have all their gear on.
Yeah, they overdid it. It's too much.
Bro. It looks like there's a fire sale at fucking PCX. Like you're about to run through the $5 rack and like you just put it all on because you don't got bags or you know what I mean. It just is, or you ran out with whatever. But I ain't trying to accuse nobody of stealing. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna put this shit on so nobody thinks I didn't walk in with it.
What the fuck was I just looking at last night, yo? more AR Fox than Swerve. I'm expecting it with Swerve, but AR Fox looked. If we could pull a picture up anyway over this audio so people could see I'm not bugging, that would be great. You don't have to do it now. We'll release a clip. But golly, bro, like
that
was some of the worst dressed shit I've ever seen on television.
It's like basically they went to wardrobe and whoever was in charge of wardrobe said, "Yo, you like this, that, and that," and they said yes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I'm going out with it on. Just all of it. So
said,
which one do you want to wear? Exactly. All of it.
Yes. Affirmative.
I said yes, didn't I?
Affirmative.
Holy shit.
Word up. And again, finally, we got MJF against Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So there's that. We have Samoa Joe challenged CM Punk.
Yep.
And that'll be that. You know what I mean? That'll be the rematch to the match they just had a couple weeks ago on Collision. And then
we're definitely going to get some ROH salt and peppered in there. We're going to get some other stuff salt and peppered in there.
Kenny Omega is chopping it up in a sit down interview next week on Dynamite with JR.
Talking about his future plans and stuff. I saw that. He looks really sad on the camera, so they're definitely setting something up there.
It could be a Takeshita Callis type of thing. It could be whatever. We don't know what Hangman Page is doing yet.
Right.
So he's still in the mix. We don't know officially what Jericho is doing yet, but you bet your ass he's going to be doing something. So there's a lot left. You know what I mean? Like a couple of weeks ago, there was literally nothing announced, and a lot of people were fucking raving the red flag. And I'm like, I get it, but we're also have at that point, 2 hours of Dynamite, an hour of Rampage, and 2 hours of Collision times 5, whatever the amount of hours that is, to build this show. And obviously Tony's mad tapped into the internet. He's on fucking Twitter and all that shit. So they got back to him. He's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And we have the direction that we're going in. But I'm looking forward to that show like a motherfucker. So
I mean, to me, it's fire too. If none of the matches were announced, you can't spoil the shit if there's no matches announced.
Yo,
so
PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is a promotion that a bunch of these guys, cut their teeth at. I think Excalibur, who's the commentator on AEW, I think he's like one of the co-founders of that shit. They don't do anything live as far as like live broadcast, and they never have. And sometimes they got this thing called the Pro Wrestling Vortex, where it's like, all right, you're going to buy the ticket and nothing is announced, so everything is a surprise. And that's one thing, speaking of Bully Ray, that he was announcing. He said, he was like, yo, if I'm in a position, I sold 80,000 plus tickets, let's announce nothing for the biggest show ever and just have everything be a surprise.
Yeah.
Shows like that are mad fun, so even if we only have these 5 and everything else is a surprise, like either way, I'm copping the pay-per-view.
Imagine if we had a healthy Thunder Rosa and that 4-woman had her in it instead of Saraya. Wow.
I mean, I think that I heard that she's been training. She could be on the way back, so maybe she makes a pop-up and maybe she's at All Out, so maybe she faces the winner.
Like you said, it could be the return to kayfabe. Hal and I were actually talking about this where he strongly believes, I shouldn't really quote him without him, but we're friends, whatever. He strongly believes that, and I do too, that there's a resurgence of kayfabe, and because of all of this dirt sheet shit, people are purposely feeding false shit.
1,000%, as they should.
Yeah, so I would do the same thing.
A lot of these sites are really the National Enquirer or, those type of, shits you see at the rack at the supermarket,
Yep.
And a lot of times, like, they make their shit off of news and speculation and whatever. So the truth is always not as exciting sometimes as what the fiction is. So, I'm going to throw you this little bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, I think at the end of the day, a lot happened with the Omega and the Bucks and the CM Punk situation. But I also think that they've worked it out behind the scenes.
They're
and they
milking
definitely
it, bro.
have phone conversations for sure. And they're eventually going to build to something. And that's none of our business. I'm here to be entertained, not know everything.
My wife's laughing at me because I rolled something for her and I hit it by mistake because I'm a terrible husband. But
sharing is caring.
It is what it is. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got a little excited here. We're talking wrestling. But shouts out to her best friend since I have a moment to do so. I have no fucking clue if I'll ever be able to get these again. But talk about like the most emasculated drink in the world. It's really fucking good though. Some like basically Zima. For all intents and purposes, it's like
Zima was
Fever Tree sparkling pink grapefruit. This shit is delicious, bro. I don't even care if it does anything to me. It tastes great. I would drink it just because I'm thirsty. Like it's delicious.
I can't tell you how much you made my day by mentioning Zima.
Shouts out to Zima, bro.
Shouts out to Zima. I think
I had some white trash friends that they named their animal that. They probably love Zima that much. That was like the name of their dog. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Shouts to all the Zima drinkers that's tapped into the Ringside Club. Peace to you, whatever the fuck you're doing with your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, man. Anything else that you want to mention before we wrap this?
Yeah, I mean,
this episode
as far as I mean, as far as All In goes, I'm pretty excited just to see how it's actually going to play out. I think that when you let out all these graphics and you announce all these announcements and you do all these things and you tell all the numbers and you basically are all but showing everyone the pay-per-view before it happens, right? I think it lends itself to there being surprises. I think as wrestling fans who have been watching it for a while, we appreciate surprises more than we don't. So we'll see what happens. I know I'm going to be entertained. I know it's going to be probably the one of, I don't know how many pay-per-views a year I actually buy, but I'll probably actually buy this one. Yeah, pretty excited to watch it. Other than that, I mean, I guess I have a good exit survey. I mean, we have a hip hop theme for the intro survey, so we could do a good exit survey.
All right, I have before your exit survey question, I do have a hip hop related question
Let's
that I
do it.
had as like a backup possible exit survey. So
Let me open this Zima. Go ahead.
let's crack a Zima open. It's the
Let me crack
Z.
the Zima real quick.
It's the Z. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, bro. What you thought this wasn't Zima?
What's the first album that you're going to play tomorrow in celebration of 50 years of hip hop? You wake up, you open your phone, or you crack some vinyl out, or a CD, or whatever way you playing some shit. What's the first album? I think mine is HNIC by Prodigy. Like, I've lived with that album and loved that album so much, and I think I might vibe with some Prodigy and Mobb Deep tomorrow. But what about you?
I will
What
tell
you
you
playing
this.
first tomorrow?
There are few albums in the world that I don't care when they came from that I could actually listen to front to back. Okay, no skips. Play it from complete beginning to end, no question. And you just gave me chills. You don't even realize what you just did, because my first car, funny story, my first car I ever got was a 1992 Toyota Camry bought off of my school librarian, who had no clue what she was doing and asked one of the seniors for a cassette tape to put in the car because it was going to be my first car and she wanted it to be cool. So my dad got it off her for $500. I would buy a 92 Toyota Camry right now for how much I love that car, and I learned to roll L's in that car. There's so much stuff that just happened in that car. But anyway, the number one thing I'm going to do tomorrow, and rest in peace Biggie, it's not Biggie related, is I'm going to play Mobb Deep Hell on Earth from beginning to end, because my life would be nothing without that album. That's just it. That shit literally made me a fucking man, bro. That's all I got. Yep.
Yo, HNIC, and another one that just came to mind, Life Story by Black Rob. Jeez Louise.
My God, bro.
Jeez
There are
Louise.
so many albums I literally can't even, if I were to try to name all of them, I would probably.
Yeah,
we'd
you do a
be here all
disservice
night.
to something, but like
Yeah.
those two, I mean, and shouts to the 92 Camry. My first car was a 92 Maxim.
Oh my
man.
God, bro, the Camry.
I would
bro.
buy
I had
that
a
shit.
92 Camry. I had a 87 Camry after that I totaled. And then I had a 99 Accord Coupe that you couldn't tell me nothing. I was probably the coolest person in the world because I had a MP3 player, a DVD player, but it played like the MP3 discs that had like hundreds of songs on them and shit.
Yo,
So
I forgot about them shits. Yeah.
Yeah,
My
bro.
man's had a piece of Biggs. He had a the Scion, the XB, the box shit.
Yep,
and
yep.
he put like the fucking the door kit, like the wing door. What do you call that shit? Whatever that shit was.
The
But
Lamborghini doors on the
yeah, the
Escalade.
yeah, but he had that shit on the XB. But he had the MP3 CDs. So we would just listen to fucking whatever came out from Dipset on like 3 hours wherever we happen to be going and shit. Mad K-Slate tapes and all that.
I'll tell you what, if I had my CD book, I not only would listen to like one album, I would probably, and I lost it so many years into this shit. I got pictures of it on my Facebook. Matter of fact, I'll post it on my Instagram for the anniversary. My CD book in high school was fucking untouchable, bro. I don't give a fuck, bro. You could say what you want about whatever. First of all, right now in my collection, shouts out to the history of hip hop, the 50 years of hip hop. I have literally I don't care. You could go to Big Premiere, he don't have them. I have literally every DJ Big Premier instrumental mixtape that ever came out. I have every single J Arms How to Be an MC instrumental mixtape that ever came out.
Arms.
I have every single one of them. I started, and this is the last, hip hop related story. Fuck our exit survey. But I actually got into being a music producer, producing for Kendrick Lamar, doing all this crazy shit, having a fucking wonderful life, traveling the world with Young Roddy and Jet Life and T.Y. and all these people, and then Conway and all this wonderful shit, right? It all literally started from me DJing my high school basketball games with these instrumental mixtapes that I would buy from the local record shop or downloading the shit through LimeWire, putting it on a blank CDR and DJing at the homeschool games because I went to a Catholic high school, couldn't play nothing with swears, so all I did was play instrumentals. So I had people's pops from all the public schools that were going to our Catholic school games coming and being like, yo, how the fuck do you have this? Do you even know what this is? Do you know what you have?
Yeah.
And so they're like, yo,
What
you
is
should
this
start a
kid doing
studio.
with this?
Yeah, like you should start a studio. What are you doing? You have these beats. Yo, could I get that CD, bro? I'll give you $15 right now. Just take it out of there. $15 back then was a good amount of money. You could get a full tank of gas off that,
Yo, what a
But
time.
so yeah, I started becoming a producer and making beats and opening a studio and doing all that just from DJing high school basketball games with all those instrumentals. So shouts out to hip hop for the influence.
Shouts to hip hop. Thank you to hip hop. Peace
Hell
to DJ Cool Herc.
Yep.
The father of this shit, man. What was the exit survey? Fuck it. Let's just do it anyway.
All right. Exit survey.
Let's do it anyway.
Yep. If you could book one hip hop wrestling run in that never happened, who would it be?
One wrestling hip hop. Okay.
And I would say it would, maybe to sweeten the deal, it could be during this rapper's height of their career. So we don't have to, it doesn't have to be somebody that's dead, doesn't have to be somebody that's alive. It could be whomever. It could be, but during the height of their career, who would you like to see have a wrestling run in?
I'm booking Ghostface Killer during the era that he had the dinner plate on his neck and the eagle on his arm because he's using that shit as the foreign object.
That shit would be so fire.
And he's running in on a Mankind match because I know Mick Foley would take the shot.
There's a couple. I feel like there's so many character-related artists. Like Bubba Sparks as a wrestler back in the day. How funny would that be?
Makes
like
mad sense.
He would make, you know what I'm saying? Just the imagery there was great. Eminem as a wrestler, because of the chainsaw and all that, just the imagery. You know what I mean? Just all the crazy shit. But nah, I think the number one person, because no one would have ever understood him except for real hip hop heads, and a lot of people probably hate him, but he hated everyone, so who cared, would be Sean Price, bro. Sean Price, a big ass dude. So to see Sean Price, to see Sean Price run in on anyone and just go in the ring, do whatever he had to do, and just leave would be amazing. Smoking a Newport, just fucking somebody up, bro. I think that would be hysterical.
A flying elbow from Ludacris makes sense. Top rope, a little Macho Man elbow.
Hell yeah. Fucking, I'm trying to think of who would also be hilarious. Well, we got the Migos. The Migos showed up.
Yeah, Migos were there. LL was there.
Yep.
Yeah, he got weird for a minute. He got really fucking weird, but peace to him.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody who I would actually really like to see. I don't know.
Like
man.
we got Bronson already. Ross was there. Ross had a couple highlights, all time highlights.
Yep. We got West Side Gun.
Yeah, exactly.
He brought out Danny Garcia.
Yo, has Dizza ever been like on a show? Not ringside, but like as part of a show? Like that would make a lot of fucking sense.
I'm gonna actually hit him up, bro. Mr. Smoke Dizza.
That would make a lot of sense.
Why have you, sir, not been on a fucking branded wrestling product? And if you have, why have I not seen it?
Like, why is Smoke Dizza not like out there with either RVD or Riddle in the ring? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Even if he's just rolling up off camera and like you just see his elbows, you know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Just like
you know the vibes.
Yeah, bro. No, I'm just fucking with you. But no, I just feel like it's it's necessary. There's so many people that are entrenched in both cultures, that it just makes sense. You know, I'd love to see anybody really that hasn't been a part of it, who has a love for wrestling, be a part of it. But as of right now, I think I've drank grapefruit Zimas to death, and my brain is mush. And,
Peace to this Cabernet.
I have a beautiful wife to go to bed to, and
Ditto.
fuck it, you know.
Ditto.
This is
Yeah,
the
man.
Married Podcast. This is the Champions episode of the podcast,
Word
the
up.
Producers episode of the podcast, and also the end of the podcast. So
That's a fact.
thanks for riding with us.
Yo, tell San Diego what they could do.
I mean, I think I gave San Diego too many strays, so I'm just going to fuck with Bangor, Maine for now. Bangor, Maine, you could go fuck yourselves. And San Diego, you have a safe and enjoyable evening. Grapefruit Zima out.
Get home safe. Peace.